Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks so much for stopping by. First of all, I want to go ahead and thank everyone for their great feedback. The last time I did this little dog and pony show, and I covered some hidden gems that I felt deserved a look for all you Xbox collectors out there, original Xbox that would be. A lot of games that I feel a lot of people might miss that I felt shouldn't be missed. You know, if these are definitely games that I enjoy playing, that I love having in my collection, and I go back to from time to time, and just wanted to get that out there to all of you guys. So thank you guys so much for the response and the suggestions and feedback and everything like that. A lot of you had asked me, are you going to do a follow-up? You know, do you have any more games up your sleeve, Jimbo? Anything else that you can recommend to us Xbox collectors? And well, I sat down and thought about it and actually went through my collection, and well, it turns out that I do. There's actually a few games that I kind of left off the list last time, just kind of unintentionally, like, you know, I should have mentioned these last time. I just kind of gathered up enough of them to get the ball rolling on this, and just feel like I need to put the word out there on these. You know, there's enough of these that I feel a lot of you might have missed, and I think they're really great games, and I think all of you guys should give them a look and check them out. So in no particular order, we're going to go ahead and put these out there to you guys, and we'll see what you think. So we're going to cover 6 different games in this episode. 3 of them are actually going to be franchises, so I'm going to include the game and its respective sequel basically as one singular recommendation, simply because I feel that the two kind of go together, and I don't want to make this like a list full of 9 or 10 or 12 different recommendations. So we'll just include those as one, as I feel the two kind of complement each other. So first up, we have the Suffering franchise, which would be the Suffering and its sequel, The Suffering: The Ties That Bind. Very inventive game, very, very atmospheric, very survival horror, but at the same time very, very action. You're playing as a guy, an inmate named Torque, who kind of treads on the heels of someone like, say, Richard B. Riddick. Kind of in those veins, but the difference would be that he doesn't really say anything. As a matter of fact, between both of these games, he has one singular sentence that he says at all. He's completely silent otherwise, and he just kind of lets his actions speak louder than any potential words he could throw at the audience. Definitely some RPG elements. You get different weapons, different abilities and things like that. Shotguns, pistols, machine guns, all kinds of things, kind of down and gritty. The graphics are actually, for original Xbox, are actually pretty darn spectacular in my opinion. The monsters are really inventive. In the first one, the monsters were actually conceptualized and created by Stan Winston Studios. So these came right from the brain of Stan the Man himself, just making these things really, really scary and really intricate with little backstories and stuff. And most of the monsters are actually based upon ways that death row inmates can be executed. So there's like, a guy who's a victim of cyanide gas, and he's basically just made of gas, kind of floats around like a ghost. One guy who got killed in the electric chair, one guy got killed by firing squad, so on and so forth. I won't spoil it for you, but just very inventive and very creative ways, very creepy enemies, to say the very least. The sequel, the main reason that I'm bringing that one up is the game save, excuse me, that you have in the first game when you go to play the sequel. There's a choice that you have to make at the end. I won't spoil it for you, but you basically just have to pick A or B. The choice that you make in that directly affects the way that you play the sequel, meaning your decision that you make in that decides how the next game leaves off, since it takes place literally right after the first game finishes. So I thought that was really awesome, that there's that kind of just absolutely religious continuity between those two games. I've never seen or heard of anything like that, where there's, they just stick together like glue like that. But I thought that was really cool and really inventive. For any fans of you out there, Resident Evil, any type of Silent Hill survival horror, if you have not played these, man, you have to check them out. I cannot recommend these two enough. Next up, we got 2 classics from SNK, man. Probably one of my, if not my very favorite arcade franchise. As far as shooters are concerned, this is up there with Raiden in my opinion. You guys know I love top-down shooters. We got Metal Slug 3, and we got a 2-fer in this one, Metal Slug 4 and 5. These two definitely go together. I mean, it's the Metal Slug franchise. If you like one, you like them all, basically. It's the same kind of dog and pony show each time, but at the same time, each one kind of updates itself a little bit, gives you a little bit some extra cooler vehicles, more intricate stages, a longer game, etc., etc. It just kind of builds upon itself. I've always really thought of Metal Slug as basically cartoon Contra. Like if you took an anime, like kind of, jibby type of Contra game, it would basically be Metal Slug. I mean, it's just such a fun game for couch co-op, you know, just to sit there and, you know, sit on the couch with your buddy, grab a controller, and just rock out with some Metal Slug. These two are definitely three of the best games in the franchise. Just my personal opinion on that, guys, and I own every single Metal Slug game ever made. So it's for the price that these are, and they're actually going up right now, because these are getting harder to find. I actually bought both of these brand new when they came out, and I kind of knew right when they came out, since they weren't like a big published release, that these were eventually going to be kind of like a little collector's item someday, because these flew under a lot of people's radar. I remember Metal Slug 3 I think was $30 brand new when it came out, and I think 4 and 5 was about the same price, like $30-35. And I had always loved them. I'd always played the crap out of Metal Slug on the Neo Geo, you know, SNK, you know, multi-cart machines and stuff. I used to absolutely love it, and I was so jazzed, you know, when I saw that I could actually get them on a console. It's the first time I'd ever seen them released for a home console. So I was just like, yeah, I'm just sold. Fuck you, take my money. I've got to have these. So if you're a Metal Slug franchise, or you like, you know, shoot 'em up arcade games, anything like that, and you've never played Metal Slug, guys, check these out. It is a ball of fun. Grab a buddy, shoot some stuff, blow some things up, and drive a freaking Metal Slug tank. It's epic. So to round out our trio of franchises here, we have the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer game and Buffy Chaos Bleeds. These two, while they do complement each other, they're very different games. They kind of follow the same general kind of path of same general genre of games, where you've got like kind of an RPG-based beat 'em up. The first one, you're playing exclusively as Buffy, and you upgrade her powers and stuff like that, and this actually is part of the Buffy canon, according to Joss Whedon. It takes place, I believe, in between Season 2 and Season 3, if I remember correctly. And or maybe it's Season 3, Season 4, I can't remember. But for any of you guys out there who are fans of the Buffy the Vampire TV show, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show like I was, guys, this is like a love letter to you guys. It's literally like playing almost a season of the game, or at least a partial season, where you're going in there as Buffy. I mean, you got the Scooby Gang meeting in the library, you know, all the original characters with the exception of Sarah Michelle Gellar, unfortunately, but the girl they do bring in sounds a lot like her. So Giles, Willow, Xander, Angel, Spike, I mean, just everybody that you would want, you know, from an earlier series of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're all in this game, every single character, and the dialogue is written almost like it's straight out of Joss Whedon's mouth. I mean, it just speaks to you if you're a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. And on top of that, even if you're not, guys, this is a really fun game. I mean, this is like a stage level driven kind of beat 'em up thing where the combos are really freaking awesome. You know, Buffy gets more and more powerful as you go through. Just you can use your environment to freaking kill vampires and stuff, like kick them when there's a scene where you're fighting in a construction yard or something. There's like a stake sticking out of the ground. If you time it right, you can like kick the dude straight onto the stake and ace the vampire. You fight demons, you know, all kinds of stuff, man. And it culminates with the final boss being the Master being resurrected, and Buffy's got to take him on one-on-one. You know, you run into Angel and everything, he helps you out. I mean, it's just, I know I'm total Buffy nerding right now, guys, but if you really like the show, seriously, you've got to check this out. It's a seriously cool game. So building on that, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Chaos Bleeds, it's actually based on a comic book that is, I'm not going to say like an alternate universe Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but it's later on in the show, probably Season 6, Season 7, and like everything that you would ever want to be in like a mishmash kind of Dream Team Buffy movie, you know, all the villains and story arcs and everything like that. This one basically has it. The combo system and the fighting system isn't quite as good as the first one. It's not quite as polished, but at the same time, it's still fun. Like, I definitely had a blast playing this, and what sets this one apart from the original is that you get to play as more than Buffy. You get to play as Xander, you get to play as Willow, you get to play as Spike, you even get to play as Faith, you know, the other Slayer, and each of them have their strong suits. Oh, and you get to play as, I can't remember his name right now, Mort or something like that, the little ventriloquist mannequin guy that was possessed, you know, by a soul. You actually get to play as him for a level. I thought that was really crazy. So it's this big interarching story. You run into Ripper Giles, you know, through all these alternate dimension stuff. You know, there's like this rift between dimensions that's kind of screwing up Sunnydale and the Hellmouth and stuff, and it definitely is a sequel in the way that Empire Strikes Back was a sequel to Star Wars. Like, it's in the same universe, but it has its own kind of flavor. You know, it has its own kind of melodrama and drama. So definitely, guys, seriously, I cannot recommend these two enough. A lot of people overlook them. They're like, oh, I don't fucking like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Guys, even if you don't like the show, I promise you will like this game. You like side-scrolling beat-em-ups with a little bit of RPG in them, you gotta check these out. These two are awesome. Next up, we've got a Western first-person shooter. This is one that I think a lot of people missed. It didn't get a lot of press or anything like that. We've got Dead Man's Hand. Basically, it's all first-person shooters, so it's not quite Red Dead Redemption or anything like that, but it's a really cool game. It has really intricate stages, enemies, things like that. Like, you're doing everything from taking on Native Americans to old-school saloon shit out, shooting from horseback. You know, you get all kinds of different guns, different pistols and everything like that. You can upgrade them for faster quick draw. You know, all the kind of things that you would want in a Western this has. You know, like whipping the Winchester around, fanning the gun, you know, just all that kind of stuff. A really great story, really great voice acting, and a lot of people just miss this. You know, a lot of people sleep on Western shooters thinking that they're kind of tropey and kind of cliche, but at the same time, yeah, this one plays on a few of the cliches of your typical Western movie with the sound effects and things like that, but at the same time, it's not tongue-in-cheek. It's taken at least a little bit seriously in the narrative perspective, and it's really just a lot of fun. It really is. You really feel like you're just a badass in the West, you know, just smoking the enemies and just saving the day. So if you've never checked out Dead Man's Hand, guys, if you like Westerns, you like shooters, check this one out. Next up, we have an entry in the Evil Dead franchise. Sure, some of you may be familiar with Evil Dead Fistful of Boomstick. That's an okay game. I mean, it's not really that much to write home about, in my opinion. It's definitely for the fans of Evil Dead, much like myself. If you just want to see Bruce Campbell do the voice of Ash and you know slapstick around and stuff, that's fine. Evil Dead Regeneration, however, is a completely different animal. This is definitely, it's almost like the type of Evil Dead movie that you would want to see. You've got, of course, Bruce Campbell doing the voice of Ash, but more importantly, you've got Ted Raimi doing the voice of his little sidekick friend. I think his name is Sam. Who helps you solve puzzles and things like that. He's this little midget guy, little demon guy. Deadeye, I think he's per Deadeye or something. You do all kinds of slapsticky things. You can like kick him through a freaking basketball hoop, and you know he helps you fight the bosses and everything. But one of the best features of this particular game that a lot of people miss, you know, when they look at the back of these boxes, it supports 720p HD. So if you've got the progressive cables coming out of your Xbox, the original Xbox, it's going to beef it up to high definition. So it'll still look good even on a flat screen television. There's very few of those games that actually support that, and I always am on the look for them. And it's just really cool when one of them actually does it. But onto the gameplay, man. I mean, this literally has everything that you would want in an Evil Dead game. You know, chainsawing, shotgunning, you know, power-ups, deadites, you know, slapsticky, you know, Ash dialogue where he's, you know, just whipping out the quips towards bosses and everything like that with that trademark Bruce Campbell wit. I mean, everything that an Evil Dead fan would want, you know, to see Ash taking on the Deadites, man. This game has it. It's an absolutely spectacular game that I think a lot of people missed. If you're a fan of the Evil Dead franchise or a fan of Bruce Campbell or just like kicking around midget Deadites, man, check this one out. Last but certainly not least, we've got one that I think among this group, this is probably the one most people have not heard of and most people have slept on. This was a very early release in the original Xbox's life cycle. I remember I bought this when it was new. It came with a little, I saw a little trailer on I think an Xbox magazine demo disc where they showed little tidbits of this, and I was so blown away by it. You're basically playing a kung fu movie, like with all the usual stereotypical kung fu tropes. This has it. I mean, I'm not talking like the game plays like a kung fu movie. I'm talking like you're actually the star of a kung fu movie. The director's giving you things you have to do when you jump over ravines and things like that. You can see the wires coming out of the back and stuff. I mean, it's everything that you want. Bad dialogue, you know, bad overdubbing, all of those things. Everything that you've ever thought was silly about a silly kung fu movie, this one has it. But on top of that, on top of the story mode and things where you unlock things, you just get through the stages, this is an insanely fun party game. This is like the Kung Fu Mario Party. With all kinds of just really cool mini games. I mean, you can play stages if you want, and just kind of battle each other out so you can get through the stage fastest, or it actually has little mini games where there's one where you're kind of standing on top of these little platforms that are moving and you're throwing around this princess, I guess, who's like got a gag in her mouth and she's like bundled up and stuff, and you're basically playing hot potato. It is so damn funny to do that with 3 friends. And just throwing her around, seeing her flying around and screaming and stuff. It's an absolute blast. So if you like Mario Party, different style party games and things like that, and this one with a little bit of a kind of corny, hokey, you know, tongue-in-cheek kung fu twist, definitely check this one out, man. Every person I've introduced to this is always so taken aback, like, how did I miss this game? This is so much fun. You know, it's just a really cool, really laid back, grab your friends on Friday night party game. So check out Kung Fu Chaos. Well, that about wraps up this edition of Hidden Gems Collecting Xbox. I want to thank everyone so much for stopping by. But guys, this is just my personal picks for Xbox Hidden Gems. But I want to know more so what you guys think. Why don't you guys leave me a comment in the bottom and let me know some of your hidden gems or some of your favorite original Xbox titles. Maybe it's one that I've missed. I mean, there's such a huge library for original Xbox. Over 1,000 titles last time I checked. You know, there's some that I probably haven't heard of that are probably absolutely awesome. So please, by all means, you know, give me and everyone else watching some suggestions on things that you feel should be brought to the attention of Xbox collectors like this guy. Well, thank you everyone so much again for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.